So today I want to talk a little bit about political parties. It's something that we're pretty comfortable with as a society, and to be honest, it's something that's been around for over 100 years. It's something that we have fallen accustomed to using. When originally political parties weren't even a part of our voting system, they became quickly, even within the second and third elections, or second and third presidents that were elected, these political parties started to crop up. They were even a problem during when George Washington was coming in. He was not a big fan at all of political parties, and he has a fantastic point. And so I want to read something from his farewell address at the end of his second term. He says, quote, "In contemplating the causes which may disturb our union, it occurs as matter of serious concern that any ground should have been furnished for characterizing parties by geographical discriminations, northern and southern, Atlantic and western, when these designing men may endeavor to excite a belief that there is a real difference of local interests and views. One of these expedients of party to acquire influence within particular districts is to misrepresent the opinions and aims of other districts. You cannot shield yourselves too much against the jealousies and heartburnings which spring from these misrepresentations. They tend to render alien to each other those who ought to be bound together by fraternal affection." And so a lot of what he's saying here is he was concerned more about the northern and southern split, and as you can see later in history, that did take a part in life. There was a big northern and southern split, and it during this caused a civil war. But of course it wasn't started through political parties, but it was started, as he said, through the thought that the public interests are so vastly different that we have to segregate ourselves into different groups, which is untrue. For the most part, we as citizens have the same desires, the same wants. And to set us up into different parties is to lead us to believe that there are different things that we want. We think about the Republicans and Democrats. We think if the Republicans think X, Y, and Z, then the Democrats must think A, B, and C. Like, there's no way that they can come together and think the same things and feel the same way, when a lot of times they do really agree on most of the same things, but there's 3 or 4 major concerns that they differ in. And to be honest, you can look at any president, and if you're trying to tally up what a specific party believes over the last years, you'll find that it's very difficult to find strong evidence that any one of them believe one thing all the time, this one party. And so you end up with a lot of confusion because you just start to assume a lot of things, and assuming is not a good thing to do. And so the big thing that comes out of this is a big conflict of opinion, when honestly we all feel the same way about a lot of things. You start pulling in the big things like gay marriage, abortion, euthanasia, and just little different subtle differences like that, and all of a sudden you've got this political party when honestly everyone has different values and different beliefs. Every person is an individual. So as a president comes on, they can't really say that they're exactly like another president or exactly like this person or someone else. They are themselves, and they have their own views and their own opinions. And that's why it's so important to understand the people that we're putting into office. We can't just rely on this party that we've been a part of for years. We really need to look into the roots of this person. What have they done before this? What are their plans to do after they're in office? And what are they doing now with their lives? Who are they really in the heart and soul of who they are? Because that is what we want. We want somebody who we feel like if we met them on the street, they would be our friends, and they'd be someone who we could agree with and someone who we could rely on. And so that's a big thing that plays into political parties and also voting, is that, you know, who are we really putting in office? What do these parties really stand for? What does this person stand for? And so I encourage you during your next election to really look into those things and see how they apply to your current situation.